Okay, before I go into the watch list video for Monday, May 1st, quick reminder that our next live day trading course is in 6 days. It is Saturday, May 6th, and it is a 10-hour, almost 10 hours. So if you're signed up or if you're going to sign up, make sure that you bring snacks and you come ready. We have questions and answer sessions after each section, and then we also have a big one at the end as well. So it is a full 9-point-something hours. But I'll tell you what, we haven't done it yet where it hasn't just flown by. It always flies by. So we're looking forward to helping people, especially if you're a struggling trader, to helping you turn that corner. A couple things that make our course different is you'll never buy a stock again because some guru is yelling in XYZ. We don't do that. We don't teach you to do that. We teach you how to trade, right? So you're not dependent upon any one person to tell you, hey, I like this stock. You'll never buy a stock at the open again. It's a total coin flip. When you buy at the opening print, if somebody's teaching you to do that, they are teaching you wrong, because at the open, it's a coin flip. It can go either way. You might say, well, it's gapping up so big, it's got to go down first. I've seen stocks gap and run higher. I've seen stocks gap and sell off and then run. I mean, any combination you can imagine. So you have to have a process. All right, that's very, very important. You have to have a process. If you're just taking a trade at the opening tick, it's a complete guess. Somebody's teaching you wrong. You'll also learn to sit in cash unless and until you get an A+ setup. You'll never again average down, and you'll never be red in a stock for more than 2 minutes ever if you follow what we teach in the course. Because we really focus on teaching you which stocks to watch each day and then how to get in them at the right moment so you'll be green right away. I'll tell you what, when you take a trade and you're green right away and you can sell partial for a profit, right, and then make sure you protect your entry on the rest, it takes a lot of the other problems that traders struggle with. It takes a lot of the emotional problems out of it, because if you're not red in a stock and you've already put some money in your pocket and you're protecting the entry on the rest, you really don't have any worries. You're sitting on free shares, right? As long as you trust yourself to protect that entry on the rest, and then you can get those, what we call accidental home run, maybe on your final half or final third of your shares if the stock keeps doing what we thought it was going to do. So it's a completely different way to trade. And again, most traders aren't capable for whatever reason. Their personality won't let them sit in cash unless and until they find an A+ setup and first of all know what that is, and then find it and then enter at those inflection points. So you take being red out of the equation. Most people always want to be in something. I'd rather be in cash. Took me a long time to figure that out, but I'd rather be in cash and wait for what looks like a profitable setup forming than to just take this trade and that trade and that trade, and I'm underwater over here, but I'm slightly green in this one. We'll take all the guesswork out of it for you. And I promise you it'll be like no course you've ever taken. You're going to learn exactly what to do. So anyway, enough about that. You can see the SPY here still hanging out near all-time highs, but when we look at it on an intraday basis, it was weak on Friday. And there it is on 60, so you could argue it's back down at recent support. I don't get too hung up in the overall market and trying to predict what it's going to do the next day, because the world is unpredictable, thus the market is unpredictable. We don't know what news headlines are going to hit between now and Monday, so this thing could open anywhere. So I don't get too hung up in trying to assess where it's going. I just look at where it is right now, and as long as I don't have any shock events, right? This right here would be the example of a shock event. Huge volume and a huge gap down. Actually, look what happened afterwards, but a lot of people thought end of the world there. So as long as I don't have any scenario like this that I have to really overthink it, I can just say to myself, well, we're still near all-time highs. We can just trade as we normally trade, okay? And as you guys know, I love the low float, low price stocks. It doesn't have to be low float, but I like the lower price stocks because you get nicer percentage moves. When you learn how to trade them, your equity curve will get really pretty. So CDXC had the gap up on Thursday and kind of closed about where it opened, right? I call that almost like an indecision candle, and then a nice little green candle on Friday. Really like this as a potential long. Let me bring my small version of the daily up just so you can see the 200-day is right here. Now it's closed above it, so maybe we're going to take off. Let's keep our eyes on CDXC. It did have good news last Thursday. So that's definitely one to watch. LTBR. Now, you don't really have, I mean, you did have an unusual volume day on Friday, but keep in mind that was 363,000 shares. So this is a volume spike, but not like crazy, unusual high relative volume. But the chart kind of caught my attention because you kind of had this run from $1 to whatever this was, $1.50 something, and you're kind of flagging, and now it looks like it's trying to, on a little extra volume, break out to the upside out of this flag. So there's definitely one worth watching. I would note that the 200-day is at $1.62 on that one. I don't keep the 200-day on this chart, but I always have it on another chart. So MSDI, big volume for this stock, and this thing can make big moves. Look back here on barely over 1 million shares. It went from 115 to 351. Again, if you catch the right entry in something like that, you can get a really nice percentage gain, very short period of time. $1.70 to $2.95 here, and then it's really done nothing. And then all of a sudden, more volume than these two big two big moving days back here. I didn't word that very well, but you get the point. So bigger volume, and if you go to an intraday, really strong, right? And it looked like it was rolling over and actually closed pretty strong. Gave up a little bit at the end of the day. Certainly one to watch going into Monday. AAOI was on a watch list previously. This one just is interesting because it got really beaten up back here. Then it gapped up but sold off. If it can ever get over this 50 bucks on any kind of volume, you might get a really nice move. So I want to watch that one. Not my favorite price range, but still worth watching. NADL, we've had some big trades in this one lately. I will tell you that on Friday, this sucker was a little bit tricky. So keep that in mind. But when you look at this, which is like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 day chart, 15-minute candles. There's really nice move back here to over 320, right? Then a lower high to 306, then another lower high, but now you're kind of flirting. And it's certainly interesting over Friday's high, over this 260 area. It's a handsome chart because you had a big move, another move, you're putting in higher lows, so it's kind of coiling. So up around, I don't know, 265, 266, I could see this one making a move back towards 3 and maybe ripping through that. So I like this one a lot. NADL. GENE is kind of obscure, just a little bit of extra volume. And I looked at the chart and I thought, you know what? It did have a huge move back here. And now you got great support below and a little bit of extra volume. I don't love this one because when you look at the last few months, and this is something I teach people to look for, you want to see in the last few months a big move, right? In other words, the stock has proven that it can rip. So when you get candles like this, it makes me like it a lot less. So there's my caveat on that one. And again, I'll show you, go back to NADL as an example. These might not look like big candles, but I'll hover over this one, 195 to 324, right? So what is that, like a 50% move in one day? That's a big deal, even though the candles don't look big. Contrast that with GENE where you don't have any real big moves. So you might say, why is it on a chart? I really couldn't make much of an argument for you other than there's not that much out there, and this one does have support below. So I'll watch it, but it's going to have volume for me to trade it. PZRX, speaking of percentage moves, went from 122 to 195 about a week ago. Now it's lower for a few days and then a nice green day on Friday. I don't generally like when you have a nice move like this when it completely round trips. I'd like to see a higher low. But I would also note that this one broke free back here from $1.42 to $3.30. So the recent past matters if you're going to day trade smaller stocks, the small caps. Okay, you always want to look at that. And so you had this break free, and then it really did nothing, but then you kind of broke free again. So it's a good setup, but I would have preferred this to maybe have pulled back to about here instead of a round trip. That makes me like it less. I'm just trying to get you in my head, which can be a scary place to be. And then MTBC, which went from like 40 cents to almost 220. I feel like this needs to come in another day or two, but then this could sometime next week give a really nice percentage gain. So keep this on your radar. I don't really love it for Monday, but it's still worth watching. That's it. That's the entire list I have for Monday. Hope to see a lot of you in our course next Saturday, May 6th. Again, it's 10 hours. Bring snacks if you sign up. I'll put a link to this to the course to sign up in the video. Sorry, in the description to the video, and also if you subscribe to my emails, the link will be in there as well. If you buy the course anytime before Saturday, we are giving away, or we are including, I should say, a free lifetime membership to our chat room, which once you learn what's in our course and you couple that with a chat room full of many people that have also taken the course, you are joining a group of people that are all looking for the proper setups. And if you might not have seen it on your own, with the group in our chat room, you will definitely have it alerted to you before it sets up. So the course plus our chat room is a very powerful combination. And I can't tell you how many times a day I see all caps with exclamation points, "I love this room," from some members. And that makes me feel good too. So I know we've really built something pretty special, and hope to see y'all take advantage of that course. And hopefully, well, if you take the course now, you get the chat room too. So could absolutely change your trading career. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Be happy to answer anything that you have questions on. All right, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see everybody on Monday.